Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome to Where Energy Meets the Divine. I'm your host, Manuchehri. Before we go to the phone lines, because that's a big part of the podcast, that I go and listen to voicemails that are left on my website, energyintuitive.com, and I give my intuitive reading to the caller. But I always like to talk about something up front. If you're new to my podcast, thank you for liking and subscribing below. Thank you so much. And what I want to talk about today is grounding. And I know that may seem like an old term, and it's been around for a while, which I agree. It's an important concept to help us evolve and live our life fully here in the human realm. Not to mention, when you're reading energy, you have to really be in your body. Some people, I think that you leave your body and go out and read a person or a situation, but really the best reading comes from keeping your energy in your beautiful temple. And grounding not only allows that, but it actually feeds the human physical form and allows it to remain healthy. So pulling up energy from the earth, through the root chakra and allowing it to feed your physical form is truly important. But what I think is what is interesting about grounding these days is to notice when you are ungrounded, to become familiar with the things that make you want to stop your subatomic particles from really fully living inside this beautiful temple, your human body. So there's many things that can do it. Some people, and it's a small percentage, kind of walk around the planet ungrounded. It's as if their energy is outside of their head or somewhere flanked outside of their body, but it's really common for people to exit outside of their head, and their energy's hanging out in the cosmos when it exits outside of the head, as if they're hanging out with angels. So they can have this false perception that everything's fine when indeed everything could be not fine. So that's one of the side effects of not being grounded, is you don't have a real assessment of your life or particular areas of your life. It's like going in blind or misperceiving the energy of a situation because you're not fully present. So how could you possibly take accurate inventory of something that's going on in your life or something that you're about to choose that will be a part of your life? There are things that unground people. It could be a word that you hear, a task that you do. This can all be related to childhood experiences or past life experiences. And I think it's truly important and beneficial for your energy system to learn what ungrounds you. And, I've been working in the energy field for a really long time. And this idea about what does unground me kind of became a lot more familiar recently. And for me, one of the things that ungrounds me is being around people who are stuck. Their energy, by choice, is stuck in their head, and they're just thinking, analyzing, thinking. It just ungrounds me. Now, this is not their fault, right? Once you determine the words, the experiences, the choices that you're making that lead to you feeling ungrounding or ungrounded, then it would be important for you to learn how to be grounded in those moments. Also, could be important that you're not going to say that word any longer. You're going to choose not to be in that situation. You maybe will change some of the people you hang out with, because when you get ungrounded, it's so uncomfortable. It's a really uncomfortable feeling. It's so opposite than what it is that we're supposed to be experiencing. To choose to live in a physical form means you're choosing to live on earth, a living, breathing organism that has its own souls, its own identity, its own individualization. And you're supposed to, in order to let the part of your soul that you brought to earth to be uplifted, to be held, to be full in its oneness, is it needs that energy from the earth in your body to connect, to really feel that connection. So it feels awkward. It's uncomfortable. And I can say from personal experience, I don't always know I'm not grounded. It's like I could feel fuzzy in my head. I could feel like I'm not altogether there. I could feel like I'm missing parts of the conversation. If it's a wobbly feeling for me, where I just don't feel like I'm fully present. But when it happens, especially if you are a person who stays grounded for a lot of your experiences in life, which I think more and more people are these days, since this term has been popular and circulating for a long time on earth, and there's all kinds of techniques on how to ground, and we understand the concept of being present, which of course is the epitome of groundedness, to be present, to be really present. That recognizing what unearths you is crucial. So that you can go, oh, I'm not grounded. So I probably shouldn't make a whole bunch of decisions right in this moment until I figure out what's ungrounding me, or I figure out how to get back in my body. That would be true. You don't want to make a lot of big decisions. I would not be signing contracts. I wouldn't be engaging in important discussions with other people when you're ungrounded, because you're probably not going to sound like yourself. You're not going to be fully present. You're not going to bring everything to the table that you would like to. You're not going to read the fine print in the contract. You're going to miss it. And it can, for a lot of people, give this Pollyanna kind of vibrational experience where everything's just fine. It's all great, when it's probably not. If you could begin to pay attention to your energy system when you're present and when you suspect that you're not, or that you are having an ungrounded experience, that would be ideal. Because once you kind of notice the pattern, recognize the pattern, then you can pay attention to it. And then you could practice grounding in that moment. And what really needs to happen to help you to practice is to tell yourself that you're safe, because that's really what ungrounds people. They don't feel safe. So apparently I don't feel safe when I'm around people who are constantly thinking, analyzing, and processing, because I feel like those individuals, well, I believe it to be true, are disconnected from their emotions. And I really love to be around people who are connected to their emotions. Now, people can be smart, of course, and intelligent and still be grounded. And what grounds people who have a strong intellect is really their empathy, their compassion for others. That's what allows them to be more grounded. Because I worked in a hospital, and another medical facility for a period of time. And I was around a lot of obviously intelligent, smart people, but they were collectively connected to one another. And most of them wanted to be there because they were empathetic. They had a strong emotional connection to the human race, and they wanted to be present with them during what is typically some of the most difficult times of their life. Is, when people are in hospitals or needing medical attention. It's a scary time, even when you go into the hospital and you find out that nothing serious is happening, which is great. It's still scary. I once fell. I'd moved a whole bunch of sod and was planting some beautiful hydrangea plants, and I moved the big yard waste container that had, my son-in-law said, probably 300 pounds of sod in it, and it fell on me. Because you have to tip, the yard waste container to move it. And so it fell on me. And I ended up going to the hospital. In fact, my son-in-law and a neighbor tried to lift me. And I had all these spasms in my lower back. So I was like, hopefully I did not break my pelvis, because that's, painful and a long recovery. At least it can be. And thankfully, I did not. Went to the hospital, had x-rays. But that's what I mean. People can go into the hospital and find out that they're okay, they're going to recover, nothing seriously is wrong. But they had a feeling that something was seriously wrong with them. And so hospitals and other medical facilities, people walk in those areas through some aspects of trauma. And so the people who want to be there are typically open in terms of their empathy. So maybe the word money ungrounds you. Maybe the word love ungrounds you. Maybe when people are acting irresponsible around you, that grounds you. It can have a lot to do with your traumas, right? Traumas in your life can be what ungrounds you, or traumas from previous life experiences, because we're working on the past in this lifetime. So pay attention to those things in your life that unearth you so that you can become connected to the earth again. Practice staying grounded during those challenging times where somehow you got afraid, you got terrified. Actually, it takes a lot to have a person who's used to being grounded or practices grounding techniques to get ungrounded. And because we don't notice it right away, whether it's so fast we don't notice it, or it's just gradual over hours or days at a time as we are connected to a particular situation, we don't have an awareness. It's usually when you start to get back in your body, when your energy starts to move back in your body, go, oh, wow, I haven't been grounded for maybe a few days. Uh-oh. what was I doing? Right? Or what was I not doing? What was happening? What was I participating in? Because you didn't bring your full self to the table. And we're all thriving to not only be in our intellect, but to be connected to our multisensory beautiful abilities and the multisensory universe, so that we can have a life full of magic here on earth that constantly surprises us and entices us and delights us. So figure out what ungrounds you, and try not to like, oh gosh, what's wrong with me? Why does that thing help me feel unearthed? Don't worry about that. It could even be about a past life. Like, don't spend time the how, what, where, when, or why energy. That's exhausting. That's draining. Instead, I would prefer that you are kind to yourself. And especially you're going to have that awareness most likely as you're beginning to get grounded. Because it's almost like when we unground, it's like we're a little stoned or a little drunk. Even if you don't smoke drugs or drink alcohol, that's what it feels like. And so it's as if the high has disappeared, this fogginess, and you're moving back into your body in an enriched and powerful way, that you begin to have consciousness again. It's like the lights got turned on. It's like, oh, wow, everything's a whole lot different now. What was I doing? Because I don't want to do that again. What was happening? Don't want to do that again. Okay, I'm going to go on to the phone lines now, or the voicemails that all of you kindly leave for me. Thank you so much. And we're going to have a lovely conversation.
Hi, Marie. This is Inez, and I'm calling from Germany. I'm calling because of two topics. The first is my wife and I wanted to move to the south of Spain for many years now, and it has just not been the right time because of the pandemic, and because she needs to find a new job in order to do so, and also because I had my Kundalini awakening about 6 years ago. And I'm also looking for my vocation. I'm still in the midst of these very intense Kundalini processes, and I used to be an actress and a singer, and because of the Kundalini, my healing energies got quite strong. And now recently I had a channeled session, and I was told that I should be working with clients one-on-one. And I was just wondering, because I'm not sure if that is something that is joyful to me. So I wanted to have your take on that. And if it's something for me, what kind of healing modality you would suggest for me. And also if my stage work is still something I should be doing in the future. And the second topic is that we just had a water damage in our house, and our landlady is just really dealing with it and handling it quite badly. And so the living situation is starting to feel not right anymore. And we are wondering I'm wondering if the time is right for us to move to Spain now, or to start preparing in spite of all the things that are going on in our lives. So, well, thank you for taking my questions, and I'm sending you much love. Bye.
Thank you, Inez. I think we need to really talk about this Kundalini emerging energy, because it's been going on for 6 years. So what that means because you're having, this reactivation of Kundalini movement when what we're supposed to do is let the Kundalini move through us. So it's just in constant connection to us, or a very almost constant connection to us. And I think it's paramount for healers and intuitives to have healthy Kundalini in their body. It is a healing energy. It's a transformative energy. It comes from outside of Earth. It's an energy that when it moves into the body, very few humans allow Kundalini to be in their body at all or for any length of time. People are afraid of surrender and letting go, and they're really afraid of passion. And I think this is part of the issue for you, why you haven't really had the final emergence, because once people have the full emergence, which could happen all at once or over a period of time, I think 6 years, although, there's no steadfast rule on how long anything should take, is a little long to have these interruptions, because it's an interruption. When someone hasn't finished the Kundalini uptake, that could be interrupted. And the interruption is because this powerful energy, which moved into your body, moved into your second chakra area, then started to move up your spine in a blue figure 8 pattern, entered at the occiput and activated psychic sight. So it's a very intuitive energy. It's been disrupted, so it can't finish its movement. And that's because, in my opinion, that you're not allowing it. There's a control pattern in your body. And so the energy comes in and then it hits spots where it hasn't been allowed or permitted to move through your body, because it needs to move through your whole entire body. It needs to have a passage through your system. So part of this is because you don't let yourself feel passion, and that's okay. A lot of people don't feel passion. But if you felt passion, you would be able to determine if working on another person would be something that would be joyful for you or inspirational or brought you curiosity, so you could investigate it more. And that's really where we want you to start spending energy, learning to surrender and get out of the way. And at the same time, allow yourself to surrender, right? And to find bliss. So bliss and joyful energy are this aspect of letting go. You have to surrender. So that means you have to let go. You have to not care. You have to stop trying to figure it out. You just have to be. Kundalini is such a free-flowing, hippie energy. Reminds me of Woodstock, a little cray-cray in itself as well. You have to let it be so that you can feel the bliss, so you can let go, so you can determine what brings you joy. That's your work. That's your work. So I can't really answer some of your questions because it wouldn't be helpful for you. You need to have a self-discovery of what bliss and joy feels like, and then recreate your bond with that energy so it's a common experience for you as often as possible. And I bet the water thing's already been resolved, because I'm sure you left this message a little while ago. Okay.
Hi, Marie. Thank you for your time. My name is Leslie, and I'm in Tennessee. I want to help others through either energetic healing, mediumship, or channeling, but my ego keeps getting in the way, and I can't find my joy. Do you have any suggestions?
Of course, Leslie. And I'm excited that you have an idea of where you would like to move your career path to. Collectively, the entire human race is in a place of picking career paths, work, hobby that is absolutely 100% fulfilling for the individual. We're in this collective consciousness. It's not going to go away. Everyone's going to want this. Everyone's going to desire it. Everyone's going to work towards it, because it's collectively what we're supposed to be doing. Eventually, it'll be relationships, but that's not happening yet. That would probably be too much for the human realm. So ego is about fear. You're supposed to love yourself and adore yourself and cherish yourself. And that's critical to work in the multisensory world, because your higher self sits right next to God. And God loves you and adores you and cherishes you unconditionally. And so when you get into that vibration or frequency with yourself, when you allow yourself, which is not, even though that is what the definition of ego means in the dictionary, that's not correct. Ego and fear are synonymous. So when you allow yourself to be in that place where you adore, cherish, and love yourself, you are vibrating closer to God consciousness. And in that, you get to experience your genius. You start to understand more of your unique skill set and of who you are, where you individuate. It becomes clear. It's not cloudy. Sometimes people don't always believe what they experience about themselves, but I highly recommend that they do. I mean, my guides told me so many things, 30 years ago about my future, or I should say current career. And I think I just kind of didn't care. I mean, I cared. I loved it. It was beautiful, hard to believe, but I was already in it and excited about and having a great time. So I didn't really focus on, oh, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Instead of going, what? I could never do that. What's going on? Because that's a fear response. If you're having an experience where the universe is telling you lovely things about yourself, take it in. Take it in. And if you're feeling fear about moving into the multisensory world, ignore it. Fear is an illusion. It's not accurate. Be kind and loving to yourself. Have beautiful internal dialogue with yourself so that you can move past the fake fear that's holding you back, because the ego does not want any of us to evolve into our magnificence, because it will be in an extension pattern. It will not be a part of the human realm. It's not supposed to be a part of the human realm. I don't care what any psychologist says. It is not in our benefit. It truly isn't. Fear is not in our benefit if we want to evolve. So that's what I think. Okay. Thank you.
Hi Marie, I'm Zowie and I'm from Portsmouth, England. I've been working in the corporate sector for the NHS for about 5 years now, and I've always been quite spiritual, but this past year I've been on a bit of a spiritual journey trying to find myself. And I've started to not really feel aligned with the job that I'm doing. Like there's something more, like a calling or something that else I should be doing. But I don't know what area or if I have intuitive abilities, what they might be, what I should be practicing or refining my skills in. Just be interested to see what you kind of see, like for my future, and what kind of area I should go into, because I've always been good with people, talking, listening, getting gut feelings, and helping people through things that I say. But I don't know what area I should go into, whether it's energy healing, Reiki. I'm interested and open to all sorts of practices, but I'd really like to see what you think lays before me. Yes, thank you very much for all the work you do. Best wishes. Bye.
Thank you, Zowie, and for all the work you do. Thank you so much. You already have an idea of what area of work you would like to do, because there's so many jobs and yours is mystical. That's what you're attracted to. I think you actually have to take some action. Go try on a few hats, take a few classes, read some books. Notice when your joy peaks, when it starts to just like a volcano shoot up. That would be an indicator like, ooh, we need to pay attention to this. Ooh, we need to do more of this. Lately, I've been saying in classes, just to get this idea hopefully expressed better, is that if all of a sudden I had a passion for basket weaving, I would buy a book on basket weaving. I would order whatever material I needed to start basket weaving, even if I knew I'm probably not going to be a professional basket weaver. I would know that because this is a passion and I feel a pull towards it, that I need to investigate it, because it's going to bring me information. It will bring you information by going down the yellow brick road of mysticism. You don't have to be concerned of what area, because what if you're like me? I'm a one-stop shop psychic network, if you will. I talk to dead people. I talk to people's bodies. I don't like the crime thing. I've helped a couple clients with crime issues, but it's not my cup of tea. Perhaps I'll always give it a go if that's what the client wants, because there could be something very helpful that comes through. But you've already established that you want to work in the psychic realm. Great. That's exciting. I think you're very clairvoyant. I feel like your third eye is just dusting off some dust, just meaning that you have to practice using your third eye vision, which is different than the physical realm. I mean, after a while it blurs and it feels like it's all the same, but you can just tell the difference. There's a vibrational energy when something's psychic versus the beautiful flowers outside of my window, which probably are talking to the psychic energy because everything is one. So I think you need to start exploring, because we're in the physical realm and we're in the body. We have to explore. We have to take action. We can't just sit by and go, well, is it this? And I'm not saying you're doing that, by the way. Is it this? Is it that? It's like, oh, well, let's try it. Let's go order a book on basket weaving, if you understand the metaphor for that, and see how you feel as you're reading it. I receive a lot of books just from people who want me to read their book, or maybe I'm going to interview them. And I hold the book. If I don't feel an energy when I hold it, I don't even bother reading it unless I have to for some reason. I'm not saying, I don't mean to say anything negative about the books I receive. I'm just saying, feel the energy. Feel it. Follow the energy. That is your teacher. That is the truth of who you are. And that's the yellow brick road. That's going to get you to your destination. But you have to take action. Right? You have to take action. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the show today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you find perfect ways to stay grounded and to identify the moments that you are not grounded, because that, I think, is a big deal. I think that is a golden parachute for us, is to recognize when we're not grounded. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.